Well, I am very pleased to welcome back to the program Mr. Ray Smith. He is the CEO of Trycera Financial Incorporated, TRYF as a stock symbol. And as I just said, great to have you back on here, Ray.
It's great to be here, Don.
Well, we're pleased to be reinitiating coverage of the company. We followed you pretty closely in 2011, so here we are in 2012. For those who've not seen you in the program, it has been a little while since we last talked to you. Why don't you tell us again what the company does?
Well, we help people put their money in order. We help them manage their money, show them where their outgo is, put a budget together, which is really coming to the forefront this year. And then from there, we take those payments that they've entered into the system, such as their rent and their cell phone and utilities, and those items are missing off of people's credit reports. So we track those payments and we add it to their credit file to build a better positive credit file for these consumers. We help people build credit without debt.
You know, what really has caused so many problems in this economic situation that we find ourselves in was this retraction of available credit. And that's really what we're talking about. I mean, people were not getting credit for making their cell phone payment. They weren't getting credit for making rent payments. When I say not getting credit, that wasn't getting reported onto their credit report. So if they had some dings in other departments or other situations, like a car payment was late or something like that, they could not see the good things that these people were doing, and that's what you've helped fix.
That's right, and we've seen it come. We've had known that it's coming. But the credit was so accessible prior to the economic boom. And now the banks have pulled back. They're not lending. People have fallen on hard times. They've been laid off. They've made late payments, repossessions, foreclosures. Their credit is damaged. And with our credit system, the only way to build credit is to get credit. Well, if the banks aren't lending and you have bad credit, there's really no way to bridge that gap. So what we've done is we put the system together to help people build their credit by reporting the things that they make every month: their rent, their cell phone, their gas, their insurance.
Yeah. What a lot of people don't know, because it's not really been reported that much, but when the banks accepted the bailout deals from the government, they had to also tone down their credit exposure. So a lot of people that had $5,000 or $10,000 lines of credit on their credit cards got a letter in the mail saying, oh, now that's $4,000.
That's right.
And unfortunately, if they had $3,000 sitting on there, all of a sudden now they had 75% of their available balance outstanding, and that affected their credit score negatively through no fault of their own.
That's exactly right. And so people that were laid off had damaged credit because of not being able to make their payments, and people that did absolutely nothing wrong had damaged credit. And we can help all of those people now build their credit by reporting the items that are missing. And everything is based upon the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. It's based upon federal law. The law requires lenders to utilize this data, but there's never been a system put in place to allow consumers the ability to show their payment history to lenders.
Now, you're also able, as you mentioned at the top of the program, help people get their budget and their finances in line. And, you know, to some of us that may seem like a really easy thing to do, but in your experience, many, many people have a lot of difficulty with that.
It is. Most budget programs ask, how much do you make? And they start with that, and then they budget that down. But the problem is, people need to show how much they spend. Even the United States government has a problem with that. They don't lay out all of their spending. They just say, well, what programs do we need to have right now? Well, we help the consumer. We show them all of their payments. We put everything in the system. And then we ask them, do you get paid monthly, bi-weekly, or weekly? And depending on what they choose, it determines how much of that paycheck needs to be put into an account to cover all of their expenses. Now, if that number is bigger than the money that they make, then they know one of two things. They either need to get a second job to supplement their income, or they need to cut their spending. And it's that simple. People can log in online and see their bank balance within 30 seconds. But when you walk into the store and you say, well, I got $400 in my account, can I really afford those new jeans?
Right.
They don't know when their cell phone's coming up. They don't have their budget. What we do is we help people put that together on a weekly basis and say, you need X amount of dollars in your bank account every day to never be negative. And so people know what's coming up, and that's what's missing out of our financial education.
You know, it's really interesting because people in the restaurant business are very keen on the dates in the month, the 1st, the 5th, the 15th, and the 20th, because those are traditional paydays in this country. And they know that on traditional paydays, they tend to be busier because people tend to like to go out to eat on payday because they think, I've got all this money.
That's right.
Your system helps them show, hey, you know what, today may be payday, but you've got all these bills coming up in the next 9 days. Maybe going out and dropping $100 on dinner for two is not a good idea tonight.
That's right, and that's the information that's missing, and what we try to do is give the consumers information so that they can make better decisions. And it's really that simple. We just put them a roadmap in front of them to see what payments are due. They know how much money they have, and with those two you can make a proper decision.
Now how does a consumer get started with your program? They just go to Trycera.com and basically pick up the ball there? How does that work?
That's correct. They enroll into the program at Simply Budgets, and then we issue that software to them. They install it. They take some time and put all their payments. And we actually include their birthday, because people know when their birthdays are.
Sure.
They know when their anniversaries are, and they know how much they want to spend on those items. And so the system actually calculates how much money, as you're going down the path of life, to be saving every month, every week, every pay period.
That's really interesting. It's sort of like having a guardian angel basically on your shoulder saying, here, this, you can do this, but don't do that, and keep a track here, and be careful here. I mean, I can see where a lot of people would find that to be extremely valuable. Now, I know that in the last 3 or 4 months since I think we last spoke to you, what are some of the major things the company's accomplished?
Well, we've teamed up. We put out an announcement this week with Education for Homes, and we're very proud to be partnered with them. Hector Alvarez is the managing member. He's a Hispanic gentleman that's been focused on helping different communities, the Hispanic community, low-income families that are getting subsidies in housing. We try to give them the education that they need to get out of there and get them on their own 2 feet. With our Simply Budgets program, we help that. We help them manage their money. We help them build a credit file so that they can actually go access credit, get a mortgage, get them the education that they need. And from there it's gone into churches, into nonprofit organizations, because the news is really helping us, the media, because of the financial crisis, and so many people are hurting. It doesn't take that much to get somebody who's in trouble out of trouble.
Okay.
We can help pull those people out of the hole, and then with the education that we teach them, we fill that hole up so they don't fall back in it.
You know, it's interesting you should say that, because I talk to a lot of businesses obviously every day, and when I talk to someone whose business may be in a little bit of trouble, I remind them, you're becoming lean and mean right now during these economic difficulties. When we come out of this, you're just going to be so much more efficient in the way you run your company and the way you manage your company's finances. And it really is the same thing. That's exactly what you're talking about for individuals and consumers, aren't you?
It is. People make X and they spend Y.
Yeah.
And then they go, well, I need to go get another job. So they go get another job, and then they make X plus their new job, and they spend Y plus more. A lot of people don't need to make extra money. They just need to tweak their spending just a little bit. Just have better information so they can make better decisions. And it's that simple.
Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Ray Smith for president, because he's preaching just exactly what we need. Again, Trycera Financial, TRYF. Ray, we're going to be following the company very closely between now and the late spring, early summer. Really appreciate you coming back.
Thanks, Don. It's great to be here. We look forward to 2012.